I have a very special guest on the Full Circle today. He was the bassist and a founding member of Panic at the Disco. Following his controversial exit, he stepped away from the music scene and has been through ups and downs, with his biggest test being in prison, which led to a significant change in his life and has led to him becoming a licensed personal trainer. It is an absolute honor to have him on the Full Circle. His name is Brent Wilson. Boom, 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 boom. Hey,
What's up,
Brent.
guys? Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure and honor. How are things? How are you keeping? Are you keeping well or?
Yeah, things are great. Yeah, I'm in a good spot in my life right now. I do work two jobs, but I get to work them remotely for the most part. So I get to spend a lot of time with my family at home, which is great.
Nice. No, and I'm so glad to hear that. And thank you so much for coming on. And I'm really excited to hear about your story and what's been happening since, over the years and since, as we've mentioned, about your time in prison and essentially that almost changing you, I'd say.
Yeah, no, yeah, it changed me in some mainly good ways. I would say, like, I would never say prison's a place that anybody should go, but before I went, I was in a place where I needed to sit down and take a break because I was getting into things that were not healthy for me or my family. So
Yeah, no, no, I get that. And you've chosen five songs for the full circle. We briefly spoke about it, but the songs that you've chosen are for just to entice the listeners. Would you say they're songs like that that are your favorite songs, or what would you say those songs are?
no, they're not necessarily my favorite songs. I would like for me, oh man, to say favorite song, that's such a difficult thing. But no, like they're not. It has nothing to do with, I guess, like how much I like the song. It's just random things that I thought about that kind of connected them really.
Nice. No, that's fair. Right, let's start then. What's the first song that you've chosen for the full circle?
All right, let's get into it. So, I had to choose a Panic at the Disco song. I felt like everyone would want to hear some sort of connection there, and it'd be a cool story. And I will say, all of the artists that I mentioned, obviously, other than my own band, like it's hard when it's your music that you were involved with to say it's my favorite or least favorite. But the rest of them, I am huge fans of. So, we're going to start with "Lying Is the Most Fun." Um, so the reason why I'm choosing that song is because I actually saw it leads into the next song, and I saw Bright Eyes live in Omaha, and it was actually at his high school theater, which is awesome. Oh, sorry, got to keep it
It's
clean.
all
I'm
right.
sorry. So I'm a huge fan of Bright Eyes. Actually, my kid's name is Connor, and one of the reasons I named my kid Connor is because the singer of Bright Eyes' name is Connor Oberst. And I'm Irish, so we spell it the Irish way, Conor. But yeah, we got to go see him live. And what's funny is we didn't have tickets or anything. I think it was like a member of the band, The Faint. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're like an electronic band. They're from Omaha too, but he was at our show and was like, "Hey, you guys want to go see Bright Eyes?" I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, I want to go see Bright Eyes." So yeah, I got to go see him live at his hometown, which that's the best show I've seen him play, and I've seen him play a lot. So that yeah, first song is "Lying Is the Most Fun." The second song was "First Day of My Life" by Bright Eyes. The reason why I chose that particular song is because that is me and my wife's, like, every couple kind of has a song, and that's our song. And so the third song leads into "Every Time I Die," Fear and Trembling. Um, that is the first song off of the album Low Teens. I don't know if you've heard "Every Time I Die." They're a hardcore metal-ish band. Um, and so I saw Bright Eyes and Every Time I Die in subsequent days. So that was in Texas. So I got to see Bright Eyes in the same weekend I saw Every Time I Die. And
So let's stick with those three for the time being, and then maybe later on we can find out what the next rest of the songs are. Is
okay.
that okay? Yeah, yeah. So cool. So first song, Panic at Disco, "Lying Is the Most Fun." Yeah, it's such a mouthful to say the whole title now, and then
Yeah,
that
no,
leads
that's
on
what
to,
I
as you,
always say. I just say lying is the most fun and leave the rest out.
yeah, 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 and then the second song, "Bright Eyes," first day of my life because
I will
of the
say
live
though,
connection.
I have a fun fact about that song. that might be interesting for people to hear. So, lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off. That is a line from the movie Closer. Me and Ryan were watching the movie together at my house, and we're like, dude, that would be such a cool title for a song. And then after that, she says, but it's better if you do. So that's where that comes from. And those songs on the album are back to back. So that's kind of a cool little fact there. Natalie Portman's in that movie, and she's the one that says that quote.
That's really, really cool. And did you who would make that? Who would like make up the song titles?
Um, so that one, I don't want to say quote me on this, but I think that one, the lying is the most fun, was my idea, and then it was Ryan's idea to do, but it's better if you do. But most of the song titles were Ryan because he wrote the lyrics.
Hmm. I it's the only reason I asked that is because I guess from what I remember, I felt like there a connection with the lyrics to the song title because I always thought there wasn't. If I'm being honest, I thought it was just trying to find the best
No,
the most like
most of them aren't. Most of the titles are just pretty random. Like there's a lot. I don't know if you know the author, Chuck Palahniuk. So Chuck Palahniuk wrote a book called Invisible Monsters, and the song, the only difference between uh, martyrdom and suicide is press coverage. That's an exact line from a Chuck Palahniuk book. Um, and there's a few more that come from like just random books. Usually they're just like little quotes that we liked from a book or a movie or something. But another cool thing about the Chuck Palahniuk thing, I just remembered this, and I read this when I was in prison. There's a book where Chuck Palahniuk mentions Panic at the Disco. So that was kind of cool. So he must know, like, that we were fans, and we used some of his quotes and for song titles. So that was kind of cool.
that's really cool. Is lying the most fun your favorite Panic song?
No, I would say Esteban.
Okay,
Esteban would be my favorite.
fair. Yeah, I mean, what? I mean, incredible
It's
album.
called I Constantly Thank God for Esteban is what it's called. But
Yeah, I think my favorite is Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks.
okay, yeah, that's one of the like original first songs. So there was Time to Dance was the very first song we wrote as Panic at the Disco. And then I'm trying to think what was second. That might have been second or third. So
Nice.
yeah, it was one of the very first recorded on a laptop originally.
Wow. And who and who like would the song would it come from jamming sessions or would someone produce it and then go to the band, "Oh, here's a song I've made," or how did it
Oh
work?
no, we did all of that. Yeah, we had a little practice space, and yeah, we did all of that like in a practice space. Usually the way it worked was like Ryan would have either some lyrics or a guitar part or something to start with, and then we would all just kind of play and figure out and do our things.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, that's so cool. And one more thing that I want to ask about that album and then
Yeah,
we'll move on is obviously, I'm really sorry about what happened, after but they released the 20th anniversary edition. Do
yeah.
you still get royalties from that?
So no, I don't. The way it worked was like I got a lump sum. So and as far as like, I don't even know if the other guys get royalties other than Brendan. I honestly don't know how that works because I believe Brendan had to buy the rights to the name Panic at the Disco. So I'm
Right.
honestly not exactly sure. Like it's contracts get like sometimes they work in different ways. Like sometimes everybody would get like their percentage. Sometimes the person, when there's members that leave, the person buys the rights to the name of the song. And once they buy the rights to the name of the band, I mean, then they get the royalties for the song. So it's like an investment up front to get a return on that investment.
Got you. That's interesting. So did the label own the band name then at one stage? Is that how?
No, no. So, well, I mean, as far as when I was in the band, no, that was one thing that we were like very specific on. Like we wanted free autonomy. Like that was our band. The label had no say in anything other than like The contract would be drawn out. You have to release an album by this time, and that was it. Like we had full control.
Okay, fair enough. And obviously, you didn't like join any other bands. You didn't do anything like that. I
No,
mean, have
and
you got?
I could have and probably should have. It's just at the time, like I was kind of spiteful towards just towards the whole thing. So and
Hmm.
I was young, so it was probably um ill-advised decision, but I can't say I regret any of it because I landed where I'm at now and everything's really doing, everything's good. So
Yeah, no, and we'll get onto that. And obviously, we've already spoken about the second song being "Bright Eyes," "First Day of My Life," and then the third song being "Every Time I Die," "Fear and Trembling." So that's the first three songs, and we'll get to the fourth song in a bit. But what I then want to just know, I guess, just because some people may be out of the loop, is so you left Panic at the Disco. And then what happened after then? Did you try and find a different career, a different path? What happened at that stage?
so after that, yeah, I mean, I just kind of chilled out for a little bit. At the time, it's funny because at the time we were so young. So like I was living at my parents' house because there was no point of me buying a home because I was on tour all the time. Like we would go on tour for 3 months at a time. I would come home for like a week and then I'd be on tour. So, I pretty much chilled out at home. With my brother, my mom, my dad, and we're just kind of trying to figure out, what the hell I'm gonna do because that was the hardest part. Like thinking, like, my life and my career is set, and then all of a sudden that happened, and it's like, holy, like the rug swept underneath you. You're like, you got to find something to do with your life, right? And that was a hard part. And what's funny is like, there's all the rumors about me in the band and being irresponsible and doing drugs. And like, I didn't even do drugs when I was in the band. I smoked a little weed. And that was it. After that, that's when I fell into some substance abuse because, I was a little bit depressed, down, didn't know what to do with my life. And, wasn't doing very well. And then I ended up I got sober for a little bit and I was working for my dad. I was running his animal hospital. My dad, he owned an animal hospital and I just kind of ran that. Was the manager of that for a little bit. And then found a job. It just got to the point where, dude, working for a family is hard. Like, it's really not an easy thing. Like, my dad is the best dad you can ever have, but like, working for him is difficult because when you're his son, the expectations are super high, and his sometimes it's hard to separate like father, son, and employee and employer. So I ended up getting a job that I hated. It was a sales job at a timeshare place. Oh my god, that I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like it's very fraudulent, man. Like you're trying to sell something to somebody that like isn't like I can't stand behind the product. Like the way it worked is like you'd have to like organize certain days like 5 years in advance. And if you went there on that exact day, then you could use it, but nobody can do that. Nobody can plan like that. So I quit and that's when I got into selling drugs and got really bad with the substance abuse because I don't know if you know this part of the story, but my brother passed away. So my brother was like my best friend. I was closer to him than anybody in the world. And I lost him and just fell into a downward spiral. So that's where that led me to the landing in prison. And, like I said, I never prison's not a place to be. Like for somebody that's there because of substance abuse, like in my opinion, they should not give you an option. Like they should handcuff you and put you into a rehab facility. I mean, unless you're a violent person where you have ill intentions towards other people, that's a different thing. But like when you're talking about somebody there just because of a drug use issue, some rehab probably would have done the job. But it is what it is. And honestly, like I'm kind of thankful it was prison because I grew up a lot there. Like it was a wake up call. It was like, man, you gotta really think about what you're doing here.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm really sorry about your brother. That's
Yeah. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's been some time now, but it's still, it still hurts, No, that's a tough thing.
Yeah. And when how long were you sentenced for? How long were you in prison for?
I got 4 years. And that's all, I haven't been to prison before. I haven't been in trouble before that. So that's a long
Mm.
time for your
Yeah.
first time.
And I mean, how? Because part of my job is I'm a psychiatrist, as I've mentioned before,
Yeah.
and I know the impact of working of being in prison and the impact on mental health as well. I mean, how did that impact on your mental health in general?
Well, I mean, man, it was hard. Like the separation from the family is the hardest part. Like you don't think about you, you don't think about playing guitar. You don't think about going to concerts. You think about all the little things, like missing out on like my kid walking. I didn't get to see my kid's first steps. Just stuff like that. And I'd be on the phone with my wife and like my son would be in the background and he'd be my son is he's so improved now, but he has autism. He's 5 years old and he has autism. So he like it could be a challenge sometimes. And I hear him in the background like making noises, and my wife would be like she'd be getting like a little irritated, like Connor, I'm trying to be on the phone. I need to talk to your dad. And to me, hearing that noise was just pure bliss. Like what's annoying her is like making me smile because just to hear my kid's voice. So it's just little things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's other things. I was in a very violent place too. I was in a maximum security in Pahrump, and that place is vicious. I mean, that like I won't go into the full story, but there were like, stabbings. I got stabbed in the face. Like it was, yeah, it was bad. It was nothing. What's funny is like I'm sure you know prison politics a little bit and some of that. I don't know how it is where you're at in the United States, but like there was nothing that I did wrong. I was actually trying to do the opposite. Like somebody stole a tablet, and it was a tablet that I used to talk to my family because we had in Pahrump, you had tablets just to like do visits. So, I got some of the guys together and I was like, look, we have to figure out how to get our tablet back. And he found out and thought he was going to get in trouble. So he just came and blindsided me. So yeah, I mean, I went through some, but yeah, I mean, it's psychologically that part, like, it doesn't really bother me, honestly. Like, it made me more into the man I am today. I was working out every day, um, getting healthy, getting big and strong. Um, and now it turned into something that like I see it as a positive, like I always think like the blessings I have every day here and think like because when I'm having a tough day here, I'll always think about like, you think about your best day in prison compared to your worst day out here right now. And it's pretty good, even on my worst day out here. So it makes you more grateful for the things that you do have. Um, yeah, and I mean it made me more responsible. It made me um, it actually gave me some skills that maybe I didn't have before as far as leadership. Because I actually ended up so like every unit has somebody that like runs the unit that like figures out problems for everybody in the community. And I actually ended up doing that in the next spot that I went to. And it was kind of like overwhelming at first because man, there's guys in there that have done like 20 years in prison. And here I am, like my second, third year in, like being the one that's like telling everybody like, hey, we got to do this, this, and this so that we can stay safe and go home in one piece. Um, and that transferred to out here for sure. It gave me some confidence. And that's one thing about the working out. Like, man, like the way people look at you and talk to you is so much different when you're compared to 160 pounds with no muscle on you to 190 pounds with 100 pounds of
Mm,
muscle on you. The
yeah,
way that people interact with you is so much different.
for sure. Because Because you never worked. I'm assuming you never worked out before going to prison, right?
I did, but not like this. Like, so I played
Mm,
sports growing up. I played baseball. So, we lifted some weights, but it wasn't like a passion. It wasn't like a feel like for me, working out is like it's therapeutic, just like playing the guitar. Like it's my escape. Like I just, this is my little area. Like this is my area at home. And I got my guitar over here. Like
wow.
this is where I go to just get my time.
I wanted to just check what got you into working out in prison then? Was it because to sort of defend yourself, or what was the reason for doing that?
It was some of that, and it was more just to have something positive in your day, something to look forward to and something to hold you accountable, right? Like, and so part of what I do as a trainer and with my online business is it's called mindset coaching. And for in prison, like you set your day up like it's called programming. Like if you're doing it right, you set your day up where you wake up at a certain time, you get your cup of coffee, and then you have your routine, right? Like I would wake up, I would drink my cup of coffee, I would go out to the yard when we had yard. And Pahrump, that was a hard part, is we didn't have an outdoor yard. So you're stuck in this hallway full of people for years at a time, and everyone's off, everyone's sad, everyone's angry, and so it's just that place was hard and it was harder to do programming. So that's where it was like find something. So I had it was really a friend that what got me really into it. Um, he was like, look, Brent, every day we're gonna do this time push-ups, pull-ups one day and squats another day. And it was just a good way to hold each other accountable. It ended up turning into like I'd be the one at his door saying, wake up, man, we got to go. It's push ups, So it was more that to build some sort of discipline and accountability, really.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And I get, yeah, and yeah, like you mentioned, the reason why you got into prison was the use of drugs. And I assume that a lot of people who are in prison will unfortunately be able to find some alternatives, or
Oh,
get or get or find some drug.
there's drugs everywhere in prison. And that was like it's a choice. There's a way to do your time. And I mean, I ended up getting stabbed anyway, and I did it the right way, but you lessen your chances of getting in those situations if you're sober. Because what happens is people get in debt, and then getting in debt in prison is not something you want to do because everybody wants to get their money. And if you don't, there's going to be consequences, and those consequences are always violence. So yeah, and it wasn't just that. Like the way I saw it was, if I can't stay sober in here, there's no way when I get out I'm going to be able to stay sober. Like there's no way. So and that yeah, that's how I looked at it. And like I stay in touch with people, and my friends that stayed sober are doing great. The ones that were getting high have gone back, things like that. So yeah, it was just a choice to do the working out and find other ways to get through the day. In Pahrump, they had a little actually in both places, they had a little music room. So I could go there for an hour a day and play guitar, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. And when you mean both places, was this the halfway house you were talking about as
Okay, no,
well?
so Pahrump is where it's like, so I went to federal prison. So Pahrump is where you're at before you get sentenced. So it's like a jail, but it's not. It's run like a prison because people are there for so long. Like I did more of my time in Pahrump in the holdover than I did in the actual federal yard. So I was in Pahrump and waiting to get sentenced. That took about 2 years.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I get sentenced. I get the maximum. I got like they gave me the maximum of my charges landed in somewhere between 36 and 48 months, and I got 48 months. They sent me to Phoenix, which is a really good. I asked for that. You can put in a request for two places. Doesn't mean you're gonna get it, but it makes your chances better. So I asked to go to Phoenix and I got it. And that's the reason why I asked for it is because they had a weight pile. And it's the only federal yard that, so they have camps and lows, but I was sent to a medium high. So meaning like, so there's like it's like maximum security is the highest. That's where I was at in Pahrump. And then there's medium high, medium low, low, and a camp. And the medium highs and the maximums, most of them don't have weight yards, so or weight piles. So I got really lucky with that.
Oh, okay. Well, no, fair. No, I'm glad. Well, obviously, it's not great that you're in prison, but I'm glad that you sort of made it, you turned your life around with it. You
Yeah.
were able to use that time to reflect, but also essentially do what you're doing today. So then, when you're in prison, you then after your time in prison, you then went to a halfway
Yes, I
house.
went to a federal halfway house, which that was like not bad. Okay, so the way it works is like there's levels to your freedom, basically. Like when you first get there, you get a couple days to like go out for several hours to like get hygiene stuff. Um, you have to go register as a felon, just stuff that you have to do. But like the Las Vegas one is pretty cool. Like they're pretty lax. Like as long as you come back with the things that you're supposed to do, they don't really care where else you go. They're not sitting there like watching you. You don't have an ankle monitor, which I did end up having that. But so that's like part of the levels to the program. The ankle monitor, you would think it's like a bad thing, but it got me home. So like you start with 4 hours on the weekends. You get 4 hours, then you get six, then you get eight, then you get 12. And then after like 3 months, you can go on an ankle monitor if you want and go home. But you have to stay at home and then you can go like to the bank or grocery store, things like that. And then on the weekends, you get 12 hours. So I did that for like 10 months, which was that counted towards my sentence. So that was cool. Um, did that for 10 months and then got off. So no violations or anything, which was cool.
Oh, excellent. So does that mean like no parole or anything like that? Or
No, federal, you always they call it probation. So
okay,
federal, everybody gets probation no matter what. You either get 3 years or you get 5 years. So I got three. Um, sometimes they'll let you like cut it in half, like if you're doing well.
okay,
So I'm gonna try for that.
okay. Well,
The
fingers
part
crossed
that
that.
isn't, yeah, the part that is sucks though, is the halfway house doesn't count towards that. So
Right.
yeah, you do your halfway house time and then you start your probation.
Yeah, that is a bit
It's a lot.
frustrating.
It's extensive.
And actually, yeah. So I want to move on to what you're doing now, and since being out of prison. But actually,
Yeah.
let's move on to the fourth song. So every time I die, fear and trembling. How does that link to the fourth song on the full circle?
That leads into um, Paper Tigers by Thrice, which in high school, that was my favorite band, like far and above, like that was my favorite band in high school. I've seen them live a bunch of times. It leads into it because those are the first two songs I played on my new guitar, like in full. Of course, I like messed around with other riffs, but those are the first two songs that I put it on, listened to it, and was able to, play it by ear. So yeah, that's and Thrice will always be a big part of my family's music, or my taste with music. I don't listen to their newer albums a ton, but the first couple, like Illusion of Safety, Artist in the Ambulance, and Visu, I love those albums.
Very nice. Thrice, Paper Tigers, the fourth song on the full circle. And you mentioned your new guitar. So, and I've seen that you will play. You put videos out of you playing guitar. I mean, is that just more of a casual hobby thing? You don't think you could ever get back into that from a professional perspective?
I mean, it depends. Like, it would have to be the perfect situation, because like with my family, my kids, like my wife needs my help. Like my son is a lot. Like I already left her for several years on her own, being a single mother and going on tour. Like that's not a family life unless it's a situation where your family can travel with you and so like everything would have to line up perfectly because I'm not in a place where I want to be away from my family for extended periods right now. But like if it was something like local, that didn't take a ton of my time, or my family could travel with me, then it would be a possibility.
Yeah, so never say never. That's fair. So now, yeah, so now you're at prison and you've started this PT role. So what's
Yeah.
how did you get to here?
All right. So to be licensed as a personal trainer, you have to take a test and you get 6 months to take the test. I knew that this is what I wanted to do the whole time in prison. So, like, what happened was I was working out all the time. People saw me working out all the time. And, dude, like, and specifically in prison, like, I was in incredible shape. Like, I had no body fat on me and I was building a lot of muscle. So, people were asking me, like, what do you do? And can you help me? Give me some pointers. And then in Phoenix, like, you have to have a group of people work out with you because otherwise, like, you won't get your time slot. So I worked out like a group of 3 or 4 guys, and then other guys would see me, and, like, it became where I was their personal trainer in prison, basically, and I loved it. It was so cool to, like, see people change, the positive change with their mind and their body. Um, and so when I got out, I didn't do that right away because it takes a lot of your time. I just got a regular job because you have to have a job at the halfway house. That's one thing about the halfway house. You have to work. So I got a job like just helping out people with HVAC, which I don't know anything about. I basically just like I was strong, so I moved the equipment, like the heavy equipment, lifted it up, the stuff like that. The pay was great actually for that kind of job. So that was cool. And then I started uh, thinking about like you got to get going on the personal training thing. So it was actually funny because I was planning on doing it anyway, and then it turned out like the company I was working for, it was small. There were like 4 employees. He was like, "Dude, I can't do it anymore. Like we're not making enough money." So they closed the shop, um, and took the test. I think it was like 3 days. Like it takes most people 4 months, 3 months, a month, 3 days. Cause I had read so much and like, bro, I had magazines like stacked from the floor here all about health and fitness and working out. So most of it I already knew. And like with reading, like I'm very quick. So it was very fast. And then it took a while for me to start getting into actually training people. That's the hard part about training. It's like, dude, it's your own business. Unless you go work for, say, like you go work for a commercial gym, then you're working for somebody else and you're only getting half. So they take half of whatever the fee is. And you're busting your ass and grinding and grinding and grinding and not getting paid very. The hard part about what I'm doing is you generate your own business. Like nobody's walking into your house saying, train me. So, um, so I started advertising online, joining like Facebook groups, things like that, and just saying, hey, and I'll be honest, I'm a startup trainer. I don't have a ton of experience, but I have the knowledge, and so I would charge less. I wouldn't charge as much as a regular trainer. And a couple people took a chance, and then now it's led to I have like a handful of people I train in person, and then the online coaching is where I'm really trying to transition because you actually don't sit on a call even with them. You draw up a program, and then there's an app called Trainerize that they'll submit like videos, they'll submit what their workout is, how much weight they lifted, every rep, like all of that information. And you study it and say, okay, this is what you need to do next time. And then I do what said, the mindset coaching. Once a week, we'll get on a call and say, like, how was your week? Were you motivated? Were you not? What did you work out every day? How come I saw like, for instance, if they're supposed to work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, hey, I noticed you didn't work out Tuesday. What kept you from doing that? And what can we do differently to make sure it doesn't happen? Things like that. Cause a lot of people like they want to do it, but they see it as something subsequent to everything else that they have going on in their life instead of a priority. And it's not, man. Like everybody, even if you only have 20 minutes, everybody has 20 minutes. Like I can draw up a workout that will 20 minutes a day that you can get in great shape and feel great, look great. But people see it as like, well, I got to do this first. I got to do the laundry. I got to do this. No, like it's eating, sleeping, drinking water, taking care of your family, and then taking care of your body, working out. Like those should be your priorities because they're going to make you better at all the other things that you say you need to do. Like my focus and energy is so much different than before I worked out. Like 3 hours, what I can get done in 3 hours now, like took me 6, 7 hours before.
Incredible. No, seriously, the passion there is just amazing, and yeah, no, I'm sure the clients absolutely adore you being their personal trainer. I mean, I mean, obviously, I don't think the video does it justice, the videos I've seen, you've been absolutely tanked and you've put the effort in. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
That's one thing that you like, there's trainers that just do it just to get through the day. Like I actually like I care. I get more excited about my clients' progress than my own. Like then genuinely do.
And I assume clients will have different goals. So some may be to, put more muscle, some might be to get leaner. I guess it doesn't matter what the goals are. You personalize it to that client, I assume, the workout.
Correct. Now, on the online part of it, like I have what's called a niche, like a group of people that I'm trying to focus on. And like mine is millennials because I can relate to that. And it's millennials that like feel like they've lost like the glory days, but you haven't, man. Like I'm in the best shape of my life at 38 years old, way better shape than when I was 20, 18, 25. Like you can do that. So that's what I'm like trying to focus on. And most of the people on like my page want to build muscle and burn fat. They want to have like a muscular, lean look. And even women, like that's the thing with women that like I always try to tell like females to not be afraid to be strong. Like that's a positive thing. And like you're not going to get huge because you don't have the testosterone that a man has. Like there's no way to get big and bulky like a man unless you're a female bodybuilder that takes testosterone because they do. And that's how they get huge.
And have you done like bodybuilding competitions and things like that? Or
I haven't. What's funny though, like, man, like I've had people when I went to like I went to a place called Las Vegas Athletic Club, and people would ask me, "Are you competing?" Like no, I just do this for fun and to take care of myself, and so I can set the example for my clients because I am a person that like anything that you do, if you walk into a room and you say you're like an attorney, well, you better be well studied in whatever form of law that you're practicing in. You better represent and embody whatever that you're doing. So if you walk into a room and you're going to try to tell somebody how to build muscle and burn fat, but you're 150 pounds with zero muscle, or 230 pounds and you're extremely overweight, well, why are they going to take your advice?
yeah, no, that makes sense. And I guess you'd also speak to them about like their diet as well. I guess that must be really important with the
Yeah.
process.
Yes, it is. So like I'll have nutrition plans, I'll do grocery lists, I'll count macros if people want to. Um, so meaning like protein, carbs, fat, like how much you should take in a day and how to get there. Um, so yeah, it's a very important part, especially with the building muscle. Like protein is so important, but carbohydrates are important. Like that's why I'm not a believer in the keto diet at all. I really don't believe in any dieting. Like it's nutrition. To me, I think about it long term. Like a diet is a quick fix. What I'm trying to do is build a lifestyle. Like turn this into something like you're not trying to get when you see a magazine that says 30-day abs, like that's the biggest load of crap in the world. Like that doesn't exist. Like it took 6 months for me to see anything there. It took a year to have like a six pack. Like it takes time and dedication. But yeah, dieting is important. But people say abs are built in the kitchen. That's not true. You have to work out your abs. If you don't, you're just going to have a flat stomach with no definition. But you won't have fat, but you're not going to have muscle. So it's both. It's both.
No, that makes sense. I think unfortunately in this day and age, there's a desire to get things done quickly, and that's why there will be this like get this done in like 10 days or 2 weeks or 30 days, as you say. Whereas as you say, it's not like that. It takes time. It's consistency. That is what it is. It's
Yes.
consistency and changing your mindset.
That is, yeah, consistency, that's like the biggest thing. It If you show up every day, you might have some bad days, but guess what? Showing up and having a day where you didn't feel as strong or you felt tired, well, it's a lot better than not showing up at all. Um, so yeah, it's just showing up every day and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then for me, it transfers to the rest of your life. So like, yeah, there would be days where like at the halfway house, the only time I have to go to the gym is 4 a.m. So I'm getting up at 3 o'clock to go to the gym and go try to deadlift over 400 pounds. And the last thing I want to do in the morning when I'm at the halfway house, I got 3 hours of sleep because people are loud. Like you're in an open room, an open space, and people are so disrespectful. They're on their phone, like at 1 o'clock in the morning, very loud. Um, so yeah, like what I would tell myself was, man, if you can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and deadlift 450 pounds on a day where you don't feel like it, like when you go to work and there's something challenging, just think about that. Like, if I can get through that, then everything else in life, I can do the same thing.
Wow. Legit an inspiration. I mean, I know you've had some adversities over the years, and I know that, it all accumulated to this, unfortunate time in prison. But I've just it really has, it was almost like that wake-up call. And I'm so pleased to see you healthy, happy, family. I think it's what a turnaround story. I think it's great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, absolute pleasure. I think let's hear the last song then. So Thrice, Paper Tigers. How's that linked to the last song on the full circle?
All right. So the last song is by my favorite band is Radiohead, but brand new. Okay. So like, I feel like brand new is like, so they get thrown into that emo scene, whatever. So the song is Sick Transit, Gloria, Glory Fades by Brand New. But Brand New is like, okay, so if they are in that scene, they're the kids at the cool table that nobody else can sit at and everybody wants to be at and talk about, but everybody wants to sit at that table. To me, that's Brand New. I don't think they belong in that circle of bands. There's just something else entirely. But so the way that song leads to, because the name of the show is Full Circle, and I'm supposed to round it out to the first song. This is the coolest one to me. Is Thrice to Brand New is those two bands tour together a lot. They're very close. They're influenced by each other in a lot of ways, not just in the way they make music, but the way that they do interact with media and things like that. Um, and they're also two bands that like I can play almost all their albums through on the guitar. So that's how Thrice and Brand New link. And now Brand New song to Panic at the Disco. If you've listened to Sick Transit Gloria and then you've listened to Lying is the Most Fun, you can specifically the bass guitar and the way they sing and the lyrics, like it is very, very influenced by it. We wanted to basically we wanted to recreate that song. The theme of the song, the Sick Transit Gloria is about like a guy that, he hasn't had sex yet. And his first time is with a girl that's very experienced. And he just feels threatened and overwhelmed and doesn't know how to handle it and doesn't want to be there because he's uncomfortable. And then Lying is the Most Fun is not about the same thing, but it's about it's about Ryan's relationship in high school, which I won't get into that, but it's about a girlfriend he had that was cheating. So it's a lot very in the same way, like it's about sex. And the way we wrote the song was kind of supposed to sound like rock porno, basically. So and the bass guitar in Sick Transit Gloria very much tried to do kind of the same idea, and Lying is the Most Fun.
Nice. No, that's a very interesting link. Hence completing the full circle.
All
Yay!
right. Thank you for having me.
Incredible. No, Brent. I mean, there's still so much more that I would love to have heard, and it's incredible to have had you on. So thank you so much for your time. Is there, I mean, where can people reach you out on if they want, if they want to be, if they're interested in getting some coaching sessions or anything?
Yeah, my Instagram is the best place. It's at Brent M. Wilson PT on Instagram. There is a link on there if you want to get the coaching. There's an application. You can just direct message me. I'm very, as you know, like I respond to my direct messages. Um, and yeah, if you want to reach out about that, people do reach out about the Panic at the Disco thing sometimes, and it kind of depends on what they ask, honestly, and it also depends on how many messages I have. Like people will ask me about like, what's it like hanging out with Ryan? I'm like, well, that's between me and Ryan, so I won't answer those questions. But sometimes people ask me like cool questions about like, oh, hey, like I'm in a band and we're trying to record a demo and we're having trouble making it sound like this. And what advice do you have? Like, I will answer that. But for the most part, yeah, if you want to reach out, it should be about the training thing because that's where I'm at in my life at this point. But yeah, Instagram's the best spot.
Excellent. No, thanks so much, Brent, for coming on. It's an
Thank
absolute
you.
honor to have you on. It means a lot. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
All right. It was great. Thank you so much.